Y'all come on in and hit that like button as you come in. Hi, Bright Star. Y'all come on in. Y'all come on in. Okay. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you. Your graphics are fire. Thank you so much, Bright Star. And welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and get into this. I actually had a few people, somebody typed in my comments that they actually liked the Monsterland reviews and recaps and explanation and all that. I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. We are actually on episode 4, and this involves the millionaire CEO of an oil company, Stanley Price. Stanley is actually in big trouble because he made a decision in his drilling that resulted in a catastrophic environmental disaster, like a really big oil spill in the Gulf Coast. Not only was he warned of the the risk and everything, but when the leak started, he went to his yacht, he hid out. He's told his staff lose a couple of zeros when talking about the EPA, underplaying and making it seem like it was nothing. Okay. Throughout the whole episode, though, you could tell he's like, it's weighing on him. He's haunted. And yet, he doesn't try to do anything to really show some real remorse. You know what I'm saying? He is constantly got people around him, his PR people telling him this, I'm gonna do this, whatever, trying to spread blame to anybody else to cover his tracks, to New York that he's all perfect or whatever. Then he has this like really like weird dream, being like some kind of, like it was like a last supper. If people he had met that we saw in the episode, and they always questioned him about the spill. And they started saying, well, at one point in time, he's in a coffin. And that this girl he had paid for, this hooker, whatever you want to call it, escort, she laid with him in the coffin. And the people were all around him, saying this stuff in Latin. And then she recites a passage from the Bible. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be earthquakes in various places as well as famines. This is the beginning of the birth pains. I was like, so all of a sudden she's looking, talking to somebody. You see this like cloud, it's red. It's like I'm thinking Satan, the vessel. He's gonna be the vessel. So does that mean he's going to be the vessel for the devil? Okay. So after this little dream or whatever, he has his birthday. He's 55, this big old birthday party, and he was talking about his dad. His dad died, same age, and all of a sudden, when the waiter kept staring at him, and then Stan was like, "Hey, say what you got to say." And he was like, "I'm sitting here thinking you're gonna get away with everything that you've done, and then you'll contribute something. Then you'll just walk away, get on your private jet." And then Stan is like, "You're fired." So anyway, all of a sudden, he starts throwing up this. But no, he starts doing throwing this feather or something, and he starts marking the same patch that the old girl did earlier. Pees on himself and falls. Um, then when he's there with the doctor, and the doctor says you have some kind of like a mass in your stomach, and must send you to an oncologist to get more tests. And he also tells him to stop drinking. He ignores him and has some drinks with his assistant, that little dude Josh. Um, oh yeah. Okay, you know Josh, that little boy that was run down his mistress, the one we saw in the beginning in the car. He's not a drinker, but when he's drinking with him, he's like talking about, because you don't drink like me, I'm not a drinker. He just really was kind of mean to him. Josh has done so much for him. Okay. He's like a graduate. He'd actually worked on things. He was trying to talk to Stan about it at that time, about the solar energy that he's working on and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, wait, hold on. Well, I can remember when he was outside with the reporter. The reporter did say to him, "This doesn't really add up because this guy from Yale, are letting Stan get away from this." Because see, Stan was like one of those corporate guys that we see every day that does what he wants for his money. But Josh completely stays loyal to him. He actually stays with Stan most of the night after he passes out and pee on himself and everything. And then he also said that after his father, who was like drank a lot and ended up dying on a dirt road, dropped his dad's name, which is Ransom, in exchange for Price. And he kind of rewrites his dad's story and saying that he's a hero, but and people also question him, saying about he didn't go to school, that all that was a lie too. So that night, it all happens. To me, you watching it, Stan is possessed. I said possessed by Satan, me myself. I say he's possessed by Satan. Josh also is tripping because man looked like the exorcist. I mean, he did look like the exorcist. And he contacted Maureen Westhart. She was some kind of like, I don't know, prophet or something. I don't know. She helped people get through stuff. I don't know. Anyway, I saw her pushing the billboard at the end, but um, she comes over to help, and they're trying to bring it out, the entity. And then when they asked the entity who he was, he said he's not the devil, but he is a vessel. His vessel is a liar. And it looks like something's about to arrive. The fishless oceans, the thick smog. He said, y'all should have been paying attention to disease spreading like wildfire spreading like disease. And y'all didn't know that I was coming. So finally, once her and Josh go off to the side, take a break, and they talk, and Josh tells Marine his real name. They go up and she calls him his real name. Stan starts to cry and confess. And then Josh does the unthinkable and cuts the restraints. Stan grabs a scissors sharp, cuts his stomach wide open, and a massive oil slick pelican bursts through the window and goes to New York. So at the very end, we see that Josh, he goes home to his boyfriend. And he said he could have put Stan away. He had all the receipts, but he didn't. He didn't do. And then he said he could have stopped everything. I don't know what that means. I never knew what that meant because of the fact that he cut him open and then the devil was let loose, or does he mean to spill? And his boyfriend was like, well, you just a sister, you really couldn't do anything. He's like, that's just, he feel like Josh, that's just kind of like, that's kind of a weak excuse. And then Josh was like, it's too late now, it's out there. So he says, it's too late. And he said, it's not too late. A lot of these things are symbols, but then you can look at them like a biblical way, that someone on earth that is evil or mean to us is just a mean person. But if you're thinking beyond this, thinking about heaven and earth and stuff like that, then evil that is not of this earth would very easily go to people like that to use as a vessel, if you think about it in that way, or use them, possess them, because they already are like that. They're not of that world, but they have things about them that is like that world, if you get my drift. So that is that is Monster 4. And that's what I got from it. Okay. And that's the picture that you see. If you see on the screen, you see 4. And that's him sitting there. And you see his stomach is protruding out. And he has black stuff because he's possessed. You know, you possess, you say stuff, you spit out black stuff. That's why you see that picture. Okay. Monsterland episode 5, which is on the right. We're about to speak about that one. Just let me get a commercial in real quick. Okay, I had to get me a drink. Okay. Um, Kate and Sean. It's episode 5. When you see them in the bar, they're so cute. You know what I'm saying? Even the bartender is like pretty impressed about how long they've been together and how good they look together. I love the way they started the episode out. It seemed really nice. You know, it was like pretty on the outside, like, oh my God, I'm rooting for this couple. And you could tell they debating the love of debate that they do is part of their relationship. Let's go back to the past of them earlier. They're showing them when they were only together for like a few months. I think about 5 to 6 months. Kate would try to end it with Sean because we find out that she's actually bipolar. Thank you, Bryce Star. We find out that she is bipolar and she's just struggling with mental illness, period. And she's really afraid that, Sean wants, stick around for a long time. That's a lot to deal with. Even though she thinks that Sean is like her, her love. Sean doesn't care. She's like, baby, I love you. Let's do a debate. They debated. Sean won, but she doesn't really fully get it. You know, she's bipolar. She's obsessed with dying, death. She tries to commit suicide like a lot. It's really sad, honestly, because she has such a spirit and the way she was. Anyway, despite all of that, Kate struggles, every day to stay alive, which is crazy. Sean's goes to therapy to just to help her out, and she admits sometimes she thinks that Kate wants to die so bad. She's like, just do it, and I don't think she means it. It's just probably that circle is probably so frustrating to go through every day. I can't imagine. They showed earlier, earlier in her relationship, Kate was able to really do better. She went like a whole year without any trips, nothing. She like wants to have a baby. Sean, she wants to carry it, not adopt, And while she was pregnant, Kate is still wedging. like going debating about living or dying. But she keeps going, to make sure to have the little baby Heather. That's the part that just like when I saw her pregnant, I was just like, I don't know. Anyway, her mental health is not improved. Even with the baby Heather around more than one time, Heather had seen Kate at her worst and walked in with her almost drowning in a pool of her own vomit once to protect her daughter. Sean sent her to boarding school. That's very sad. Okay, let's go back. Let's back to where we are now. Sean and Kate are trying to enjoy an anniversary when, of course, it goes left. I think Sean makes an off comment about Heather. Oh, she said something about Heather being narrated at boarding school, and Kate just kind of gets in her feelings about it. She knows they had to send her away because of her. Later, she tries to kill herself, slitting her wrist, bleeding out in the bathtub. Sean walks in and finds her in the tub, and she is still alive. And she turns and she leaves her in the tub. But then Kate suddenly comes back later looking pretty bad, and she looks kind of like a zombie. She walks over that slowly, she decomposes like every day. Like the cuts start to look deep, the eyes fall out, skin is melt, bones it's gross. Like when she would, her foot would, feeling guilty because she didn't help Kate out of the tub. I think Sean, she feels like she can't ever abandon her again. It messes with her so bad. She quit her job. She was like killing squirrels to feed her, even though she's no longer she's no longer even a person to talk to. She's turned into a decomposed dead thing. Just eating the dead squirrels. It was really gross. So all of a sudden, Heather actually returns home, surprise to her parents. She had no idea. She finds her mom, Sean, looking toe up on the floor up, dirty, and she comes from the basement. They all of a sudden sit down at the table, and Heather just starts talking to her. Heather wants to see if she can beat her mom at a game, so she challenges her to a debate on school uniforms versus wearing what you want to wear. And Sean watches Heather give her side. She sees Kate in her daughter's face. Hold on. And I'm going to say this too. The whole time, she kept trying to go to the dirt to be buried. Like she knew that she wasn't supposed to be there. It was crazy how they would show Sean like give up her whole life just to be there because she felt guilty because she didn't. Because when you look at her in the tub, she's laying there. When she walks in, she turns, she looks at her, bleeding wrist and everything, and she just goes back to bed. Um, some part of Kate expected that Sean was going to save her again when she looked at her. And if she was willing to let her go, even let her die, then she really was like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and die. I'm not even going to try to save myself. And Sean could not let her go, despite the fact that she was already gone. And I think that when Sean realized that she would have her through her daughter, the way she turned her head to the side, the way that she reminded her of her, she's like, I can move on. Now, every episode is like the person or somebody's a monster. And I'm like, okay, to me, they're trying to say that Sean is the monster, or are they saying that Kate is the monster? Sean for giving up on Kate, mostly. That's the only thing I can say. But The monster part people could probably say is when she turned and looked at her in the tub and didn't take her out of the tub. But is that really a monster? Or could she just not take it anymore? Anyway, guys, that's it. Woo! Oh my goodness. We got a few more episodes to go. The one thing I'm liking about this thing is that when I post this, I see you guys are looking at it. Like, I was surprised that my last video was like 300. I was like, wow. Because people really want to break these episodes down. So I take my time and I do it so you guys can get my opinion. You might think differently. Y'all might think that Sean is the monster because she didn't save Kate. But the part that I really liked is when Sean and Heather are sitting there. It's like, we did both lose somebody, but we still have each other. We're still here. And let's celebrate that. I hope you guys enjoyed it because I enjoyed doing it.